questions. We'll begin with James Maddison. We'll take questions for him first for around 10 minutes. We'll try and get through as many questions as possible. James will then be followed by Ange Postecoglou, and we'll take questions from the floor and use the microphone provided.
Köszöntöm a sajtó munkatársait. Először a játékossal, James Maddisonnal kezdenénk, körülbelül 10 percig lehet tőle kérdezni, utána pedig a vezetőedzővel jövünk.
Hi James. Tomorrow is the England squad announcement as well as Tottenham's match. You're playing very, very well at the moment. You weren't in the last squad, but I presume you're hoping to keep back in the reckoning. There's so much competition in your position. Where do you feel your game is at the moment, and your relationship? You've known Lee Carsley for a long time, I believe, all the way back to Coventry. How do you think that all fits in, and where do you see yourself at in that particular regard?
Hi everyone, by the way. I don't think question one would be straight in with the England stuff, but listen, yeah, tomorrow's obviously the announcement day. I want to be in the squad. It's simple. Every England player will tell you that. Like you said, I know Lee Carsley. I worked with him at Coventry. He was my assistant in the under-21s, under Adi Boothroyd, who I had for a few years in European championships that we built up to under-21 level. And my game, I feel really good. I feel really good at the minute. I feel probably as fit as I've ever felt, really. I feel like my fitness is really at an optimum level. Obviously having a break in the summer, a pretty lengthy break, not going to the Euros, it kind of does help. You can see, like, I know it's been spoken about with Erling Haaland, like how he's had a summer off and he hit the ground running. I feel the same. But I feel really good. I feel confident. I feel alive on the pitch at the minute, and that's good. And I always kind of say the same cliche thing when I get asked about the England stuff, and it's if I just take care of my performances for Spurs, which I feel like I'm doing at the minute to a high level, then the other stuff will take care of itself, hopefully. So I'll just continue with that mindset, that mentality, and hopefully it'll get me to where I want to be.
A kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy a holnapi mérkőzés mellett az angol válogatott kerethirdetése is holnap történik. Mennyire tartja ezt fontosnak, illetve a Coventryvel is lesz majd egy mérkőzésük, ahol játékosként is szerepelt, kérünk nyilatkozzon erről. A játékos pedig azt válaszolta, hogy igen, úgy gondolom, hogy minden angol játékos számára nagyon is kiemelt helyen szerepel az angol válogatott, úgyhogy szeretne mindenki a tagja tenni. A Coventryben pedig fiatal koromban játszottam elég sokat, úgyhogy ismerem a játékokat, hogy az U21-es csapatnak is a tagja voltam. Jelenleg talán valaha legfittebbnek érzem magam. Úgy gondolom, hogy nagyon jót tett ez a hosszabb nyári szünet. Láthattuk hasonló játékosoknál is, milyen hatásai voltak ennek. Úgyhogy úgy gondolom, hogy a teljesítményem az abszolút jó, és ezt szeretném a Tottenhamnél is kamatoztatni ilyen szinten.
Hi James, you mentioned the fitness there, but it also seems from the outside like you come into this season with a real determination and sort of resolve. Is that the case? And if so, where did that come from? And was that something you thought about in the summer, that this would be a campaign to kind of attack in that sense?
No, a lot of people made quite a lot of talking about the James Maddison of the start of last year, I think. But in my own head, the James Maddison the start of last year had been there for 4 or 5 years in the Premier League at that level. It's just, I think, the exposure you get at being at a bigger club, Spurs, and winning games kind of made everyone think, wow, James Maddison's at a really high level, when really I felt like I'd been at that level quite consistently for a few years. But yeah, I guess whenever in life you have kind of like setbacks, I've also spoke on this in interviews, it can go like one or two ways, and the gaffer kind of said that as well before about like, it's how you deal with that, you know. You can either kind of let it swallow you up a little bit and feel sorry for yourself and go down that route, or you can respond in the right way, and the only way really to then actually get back to being successful and getting back in the England squad and playing at the top level for Spurs again. So I don't think it was like it wasn't a massive thing, because I feel like I actually finished the back end of last season quite well. And I just wanted to, always want to prove people wrong, prove any sort of doubters, people who question, always want to prove them wrong. That's where I get some of my hunger from, you know. wanting to be the best version of myself for Tottenham and for my teammates and for the people close to me, but also to prove the people wrong who doubt me. I get satisfaction in that. So, no, like I said on the previous, I feel really good at the minute, and I feel sharp. So hopefully that can continue.
Kérdés az volt, hogy ugye beszélt a fittségéről, de minthogyha egy extra elhatározottságot is láthatnánk ebben a szezonban. Honnan meríti ezt? A játékos pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nagyon sokan beszélnek a múlt évi James Maddisonról, de ettől függetlenül úgy gondolom, hogy ha valaki a Premier League szintjén már 4-5 éve játszik, akkor vannak bizonyos kvalitásai, és hozzá van szokva egy bizonyos szinthez és terheléshez, úgyhogy úgy gondolom, hogy ezt a szintet a lehető legjobban szeretném hozni, akármi is történik, hogyha az életben vannak olyan dolgok, amik hátráltatnak, akkor igazából, vagy bárkit hátráltatnak, két választása van, vagy gyakorlatilag sajnáltatja magát, vagy próbál ebből az egészből jól kijönni, és újra erőt meríteni ebből. Úgy gondolom, hogy én ezt az utóbbit teszem. Mindenképpen szeretnék jól játszani mind a Tottenhamben, mind a válogatottban, és úgy gondolom, hogy ettől függetlenül a múlt szezon vége is jól sikerült a számomra, és engem azt táplál, hogy a bennem kételkedőknek bebizonyítsam, hogy nincsen igazuk, és hogy mit is tudok valójában a pályán.
Hi James, up here. I just wanted to ask you about Mikey Moore. It's clear from the outside that you've really taken him under your wing, and how nice is that as an experienced player, and how exciting is his potential?
Yeah, Mikey, I have to sometimes pinch myself and remind myself how young he actually is. When he first came up, he was 16, and I just thought, at 16, I was like, he's more of like he's kind of a man already, I think. Like when I look at him and I watch him play, he's very powerful. He's only going to get stronger in terms of growing and developing into his body because he is so young. We're literally talking about a teenager, which is quite scary because he's got a lot of ability. But also I don't want to speak too highly because I don't want to put pressure on him, you know. I don't want him to feel like any sort of pressure because he's getting a lot of people talking about him at the minute, but rightly so. And that's down to him training well, which is getting him in the first team, which is getting exposure, which is what he wants. But firstly, I think he's a great kid. He's a really well-mannered, polite young man, which is a credit to his parents and his family, really, because that's first and foremost, as a senior player, when you have a young lad coming up, I think that's the first thing that you kind of recognise, because you don't want a young lad coming up with that arrogance and that kind of, who does he think he is? Like, this is the first team here. He's not like that at all. So that was he got off to a good start. And then his ability on the ball, we see it in training. I think the Spurs fans are keen and eager to see more in games, but we see it in training, and he's got bags of ability, and he looks to me as if he just loves the game and he loves playing, and he gets tackled, he sometimes falls on the floor, he gets up, he just jumps up as if nothing happened, and he just wants the ball again. So really excited to see how his journey goes, and just try and help him wherever I can. I always try and have little chats with him, because I think, what would a 16-year-old James Maddison want? He'd want one of the senior first team players to put an arm around him and treat him like a man, but also give him the advice to try and help him and accelerate that success and the journey he's going to have. So, but yeah, he's got to go and do it when he gets the opportunities, and I'm sure he will, and I'm sure he's keen and eager to get going and get more minutes. So I look forward to it.
A kérdés az volt, hogy a fiatal Mikey Moore-t szinte a szárnyai alá vette, tudná erről nyilatkozni, a játékos pedig azt válaszolta, igen, Mikey nagyon-nagyon fiatal játékos, 16 éves, és már ilyen szempontból kész férfi, de nekem is mindig eszembe kell juttatnom magamnak, hogy még csak egy tínédzserről beszélünk, de nem szeretnék túl sokat is beszélni róla, nehogy nyomást helyezzek rá ilyen szempontból. Úgy gondolom, hogy nagyon is szüksége van az ilyenfajta terhelésre. Egy nagyon-nagyon klassz srác, igazán udvarias, nagyon rendes a szüleivel, ami úgy gondolom, hogy nagyon is fontos a futballban, hogyha egy idősebb játékos azt látja, hogy valaki fiatalon már arrogáns, az sose egy jó jel. Az edzésen pedig őt látva lehet azt látni rajta, hogy nagyon is imádja a focit, ha bármikor leszerelik és a földre kerül, azonnal újra a lábán van, és néha ilyenkor eszembe jut, hogy a 16 éves James Maddison mit szeretne egy csapatban, és természetesen neki is nagyon jó lesne, hogyha az idősebb játékosok kicsit egyengetnék az útját és segítenének neki, úgyhogy mi is ezt tesszük, és úgy gondolom, hogy ezzel a fajta kitartással egyre több percet fog kapni a pályán.
So one with Jerry and then one with Ali at the front.
Jerry Cox from Haters TV. Dejan Kulusevski's been playing, he's found his position now as a sort of creative midfielder as well. Does that sort of share the load for you, and does it create sort of double problems for the opposition with him playing in that sort of form as well?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what you mean by share the load in terms of what. Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, yeah. No, Decky's obviously a very forward-thinking player. He's played a lot as a winger. He's got some brilliant attributes. He's a top footballer with a top mentality and one of the fittest geezers I've ever seen in my life. So it's nice to play with him. It's very attacking and I love it. He's a creative player, like you say. So not that I've ever felt responsibility to be the only creative player in the team, because the way we play, we kind of create from all different situations with our philosophy here. But no, he's a brilliant player. I think on Sunday at Old Trafford, he really took the game, grabbed it by the scruff of the neck almost, was driving us forward. He's so good at carrying the ball as well. I just feel like there's a really nice balance in there at the minute, so it's a pleasure to play alongside him, especially when he's like that Sunday.
A kérdés arra vonatkozott, hogy a csapattársa Dekiben milyen együtt játszani, ugye hasonló poszton kreativitásra van szüksége, a játékos pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nagyon is jó egy ilyen emberrel együtt játszani a csapatban, hiszen azt a fajta plusz kreativitást abszolút bele tudja vinni a játékunkba, és ilyen szempontból nagyon is tudunk más fajta játékkal operálni, és igazából ezt a fajta játékstílust képviselni.
James. You and Brennan Johnson are good friends. You put up an image that the fans loved the other day of him as Ronaldo. I think they're calling it Ronaldo. What have you made of this period for him and how he's just kind of showing exactly what he's made of?
No, Brennan's first and foremost obviously a very good friend of mine, very close to them. I think a lot's been made about him coming off social media, which to him probably wasn't as big a deal as what it's been made out. I mean, knowing Brennan, he's the type of guy to sometimes just have a break from that sort of stuff anyway. I think people have kind of read into that a little bit too much, but yeah, since he's obviously gone 4-4, so I don't think I'll be telling him to re-download it anytime soon. But no, he's a great kid. He's a brilliant player. No one's ever had any doubt in that, but he's really shown it at the minute and consistently as well. It's not easy to score 4 games in a row for starters. So no, he's a brilliant lad, a great friend of mine, so I'm always there for him. That picture was obviously a bit tongue-in-cheek. We found it funny. It got put in our group chat. So, no, hopefully he can continue this form because he's a real threat for us and he can do damage to a lot of oppositions in the Premier League and in Europe. So I like to see him in that vein of form. Yeah.
A kérdés Brennan Johnsonra vonatkozott, hogy jó barátságban vannak, mi a véleménye róla a jelenlegi teljesítményéről. Sokan nagyon is komoly csatárokhoz hasonlítják őt. A játékos pedig azt válaszolta, hogy nem is kérdés, hogy zseniálisan tehetséges játékosról beszélünk. Emellett nagyon is jó barátom, úgyhogy nagyon szerettem őt a pályán tudni, és az is mutatja az ő kvalitásait, hogy 4 meccsen zsinórba betalált, úgyhogy úgy gondolom, hogy ez mindenképpen egyfajta jele annak, hogy milyen kvalitásokkal is rendelkezik.
Thank you.
Yep.